Most people hear the words cortisol and adrenaline and immediately think of stress, anxiety, or burnout. We've been conditioned to view these hormones as enemies to our well-being, but here's the truth: your body doesn't make mistakes. These chemicals are part of your biological toolkit. They're not there to harm you, they're there to help you. Cortisol and adrenaline are essential messengers that allow you to focus, react quickly, and mobilize energy. And when you learn how to work with them instead of against them, they can become powerful allies in boosting both your energy and your immune system. Let's start with what these hormones actually do. Cortisol, often labeled the stress hormone, is released by your adrenal glands in response to signals from the brain. It helps regulate your metabolism, controls blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and helps with memory formulation. Adrenaline, on the other hand, is the hormone that gives you that surge, the quick burst of energy, elevated heart rate, and enhanced awareness when you're in a high-pressure situation. Together, these hormones create a coordinated system that enables you to respond to the demands of life. Now, here's the interesting part. These hormones aren't just for emergencies. They're not just for fight or flight moments. Your body produces small, healthy pulses of cortisol and adrenaline every day to help you stay alert, engaged, and motivated. The key is rhythm and regulation. When your brain detects it's time to wake up, based on light entering your eyes, body temperature rising, and your circadian clock ticking, it sends a signal to your adrenals. Cortisol rises. This is called the cortisol awakening response, and it's like a built-in jumpstart to your system. This surge of cortisol in the morning isn't a glitch. It's designed to help you transition from sleep to action. It mobilizes stored energy, sharpens your focus, and helps prepare your immune system for the day ahead. At the same time, small releases of adrenaline increase your heart rate slightly, make you more responsive, and even boost your mood. It's nature's way of saying, all right, it's time to get after it. The challenge is that most people don't understand this natural rhythm. We wake up, stare at our phones, stay indoors under artificial light, and sip caffeine before our internal systems are even properly online. That disrupts the balance. Instead of flowing with your biology, you're fighting it, and over time, that friction leads to fatigue, poor immune function, and burnout. But when you begin to support and optimize the way cortisol and adrenaline are released, you'll notice a dramatic shift. You'll have more consistent energy, sharper focus, and greater emotional resilience. And this isn't about hacking your body, it's about aligning with it. For instance, stepping outside within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, even for just 5 to 10 minutes, helps reinforce that cortisol rhythm. It tells your brain, yes, it's daytime, we're alert, we're moving forward. That light cue calibrates your system, improves your sleep later that night, and boosts your immune system by syncing your hormonal and circadian rhythms. It's such a small shift, but it can have an outsized impact on your health and performance. Understanding that cortisol and adrenaline are not inherently negative is a mindset shift. When you realize these chemicals are part of a finely tuned system designed to help you survive and succeed, you stop fearing them. You stop trying to shut them down. Instead, you learn how to ride the wave, how to create the right conditions for healthy stress, and how to tap into these responses when you need to rise to a challenge. Because these hormones aren't just about reacting to fear or danger. They're about rising to purpose. They're about showing up with energy when it matters and protecting your body when it counts. When used properly, cortisol and adrenaline don't drain you, they drive you. And once you start treating them like the powerful tools they are, everything changes. One of the most overlooked yet powerful ways to boost your energy and immune system is by understanding how your body is designed to function in the morning. We often rely on caffeine, alarms, and sheer willpower to kickstart our day. But your body already has a natural system in place that, when supported, can make you feel more alert, focused, and resilient. It starts with cortisol, a hormone that gets a lot of negative press, but is actually essential, especially first thing in the morning. Every morning, if your system is working properly, your body experiences what's called the cortisol awakening response. It's a healthy, natural rise in cortisol that begins in the moments after you wake up and peaks about 30 to 60 minutes later. This isn't a random spike, it's a carefully timed release that's meant to prepare your brain and body for the demands of the day. Think of it as nature's version of an internal shot of espresso, designed not just to wake you up, but to prime your immune system, sharpen your cognitive function, and mobilize your physical energy stores. Now, cortisol gets a bad reputation because of what happens when it's too high for too long, especially during chronic stress. But in the right dose, at the right time, it plays a critical role in your health. In the morning, that cortisol pulse helps regulate inflammation, boosts immune readiness, and promotes the production of alertness chemicals like norepinephrine and dopamine. It quite literally helps you feel awake, motivated, and ready to engage with the world. But here's the catch. This natural system can only work if you give it the right environmental cues. One of the most important signals for this morning cortisol rise is light, specifically natural sunlight entering your eyes shortly after waking. When light hits the photoreceptors in your retina, it sends a signal to a part of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which controls your circadian clock. That clock tells your adrenal glands, it's morning, release cortisol, initiate wakefulness. If you miss that light cue, if you stay inside with the curtains drawn, or you check your phone under artificial light before getting sunlight, your brain doesn't get the full signal. That means your cortisol pulse might be delayed or blunted, and over time, this disrupts your energy, your mood, and your immune function. The system becomes confused. It doesn't know when day starts or when night should end. So one of the most effective things you can do to support energy and immunity is to get outside in the morning, within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, and let your eyes take in natural light. Even on a cloudy day, the amount of lux light intensity from the sky far exceeds what you'll get from indoor lighting, and you don't need to stare at the sun or stand outside for an hour. Just 5 to 10 minutes of morning light exposure can signal to your body, let's go, it's time to be alert, it's time to perform. This habit does something else, too. It helps regulate your evening melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy. Morning light doesn't just impact how you feel in the moment, it sets the tone for your entire circadian rhythm. It helps you fall asleep more easily at night, sleep more deeply, and wake up more refreshed the next day. It's a loop. Get the morning right, and the evening follows. The other thing that can support this process is movement. Even light physical activity early in the day, walking, stretching, or a few minutes of deliberate breath work, can reinforce the cortisol rise and enhance that sense of activation. It doesn't have to be intense. It just has to be intentional. So if you're someone who struggles with energy, or if you feel sluggish in the morning, take a step back and ask yourself, am I giving my brain and body the signals they need to naturally engage their systems? You don't need to rely entirely on external stimulants. Your biology already has a mechanism to energize you, defend you, and get you ready. You just need to let it do its job. Support that first hour of the day, and your body will support you for the rest of it. Adrenaline is one of the most misunderstood chemicals in the body. We often associate it with panic, chaos, or emergency, something that hijacks your system when you're scared or overwhelmed. But adrenaline isn't just about survival. It's about performance. When released in the right context and the right amount, adrenaline can be one of the most effective tools for unlocking energy, focus, and motivation. What adrenaline actually does is prepare your body to act. It's released by your adrenal glands during times of mental or physical stress, but not just in dangerous situations. It elevates your heart rate, increases blood flow to your muscles, sharpens attention, and boosts reaction time. It puts your system on high alert, but not in a way that's always negative. In fact, small, controlled releases of adrenaline can help you move from procrastination to action, from fatigue to drive. This is why activities that challenge you physically, like cold exposure, high intensity interval training, or even deliberate breath work, can have such a dramatic impact on your mental state. These methods trigger short bursts of adrenaline, which, when done intentionally and not excessively, can make you feel more awake, alert, and mentally ready. It's not about seeking out stress. It's about choosing to place your body in controlled states that naturally engage these systems and remind your brain, I can do hard things. For example, when you step into a cold shower or an ice bath, your body instantly activates a stress response. Adrenaline is released, but instead of spiraling into panic, if you stay calm, if you control your breath, maintain your posture, and stay mentally engaged, you train your system to interpret that stress not as danger, but as stimulation. You become more resilient. You teach your body that stress is something you can handle, even benefit from. The same applies to exercise. When you do a short, intense workout, something that raises your heart rate and challenges your body, you get a quick release of adrenaline that boosts your energy and improves your mood. It's like lighting a fire under your nervous system, and the effects carry over into your cognitive state. You feel more present, more capable, more focused. That's the kind of energy we want to tap in, not chaotic and overwhelming, but sharp and directed. And here's the key. When you learn how to voluntarily activate these systems through controlled physical stress, you also gain more control over how you respond to mental stress. You become more adaptable. That's where real growth happens. You're not trying to eliminate adrenaline. You're learning how to regulate it. You're building a relationship with stress that's productive, not destructive. So the next time you feel stuck, unmotivated, or low on energy, remember that the body has a built-in solution. You don't have to wait for inspiration. You can create activation. You can trigger that upward spiral with breath, movement, and exposure to challenge. When you use adrenaline intentionally, it doesn't pull you into panic. It pushes you into performance. Stress isn't the problem. The real issue is how long the stress lasts and whether your body ever gets a chance to recover from it. Your system is designed for short bursts of activation, moments where cortisol and adrenaline rise to help you focus, move quickly, and meet a challenge. That's acute stress, and in healthy doses, it can be energizing, even immune boosting. But when that stress becomes constant, when your body is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline day after day without any real recovery, that's when things start to break down. That's when stress becomes harmful. Chronic stress pushes your nervous system into overdrive. You may feel wired but exhausted, unable to relax, and constantly stuck in a low-level fight or flight state. And the longer you stay in that mode, the more damage it does not just to your energy levels, but to your immune system, your digestion, your sleep, your mood. Your body isn't meant to live in survival mode all the time. One of the biggest misunderstandings is thinking that all stress is bad, but your biology doesn't work in absolutes. What matters most is the duration and frequency. A short spike of cortisol in the morning, that's beneficial. A temporary surge of adrenaline during a workout or public speaking, also good. But living in a constant state of high alert emails piling up, social media notifications buzzing, racing from one task to the next without pause, that's not what your body is designed to handle long term. That's why recovery is not a luxury, it's a biological necessity. Your stress system needs an off switch, a signal that says, we're safe now, it's okay to rest. And that signal doesn't come just from sleep, although that's a huge part of it. It also comes from what you do during the day to create balance. Simple things like deep breathing, taking walks, spending time in nature, doing something creative, or even just stepping away from screens. All of these can send a message to your brain that it's safe to downshift. Because when you recover properly, your body becomes more resilient. You actually become better at handling future stress. You recover faster, your immune function improves, and your baseline energy increases. That's what adaptation looks like. You're not avoiding stress, you're building the capacity to bounce back from it, and this is where routines matter. Just like you train your body to wake up with morning light or energize with a short workout, you can train it to shift into recovery mode. Maybe that's 10 minutes of mindfulness before bed, or a walk after dinner, or a moment of silence between tasks during your day. These small signals add up. They help recalibrate your system and keep the long-term stress hormones in check. So instead of trying to eliminate stress altogether, aim to create contrast. Build periods of intentional intensity, and then build in periods of intentional recovery. That's the rhythm your body was designed for. And when you live in sync with that rhythm, energy and immunity are no longer things you have to chase. They become your baseline. One of the fastest ways to activate your body's energy systems and support your immune function is through movement. And I don't just mean going to the gym or doing an intense workout, though that certainly helps. I'm talking about simple, deliberate movement that you integrate into your day, especially early in the morning. Your body responds to movement by increasing circulation, elevating your heart rate, and stimulating the release of both adrenaline and cortisol in a healthy, controlled way. This kind of physical stress, short, sharp, and intentional, is exactly the kind of activation your system was built to handle. When you move your body, you're not just exercising muscles. You're sending signals to your brain that it's time to engage. Blood flow increases, oxygen delivery improves, and your nervous system shifts into a more alert, ready state. Even a short walk first thing in the morning can dramatically improve your energy and clarity for the rest of the day. And when you pair that walk with natural sunlight, you're reinforcing your circadian rhythm and supporting that healthy cortisol pulse that sets the tone for everything that follows. This is why movement in the early part of the day is so powerful. It syncs up with your biology. It doesn't fight against it. Whether it's a brisk walk, a quick set of push-ups, or just some light stretching, that movement tells your body, we're awake, we're active, and we're ready. And your body responds accordingly. You feel more focused, your mood lifts, and your immune system gets the signal that it's time to perform, not shut down. It also doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need an hour-long routine. You just need consistency. A few minutes of movement each morning creates momentum, and that momentum builds throughout the day. It's one of the simplest ways to trigger a natural release of energy, boosting hormones, without relying on stimulants, without pushing your system too hard. And the beauty of this approach is that it's adaptable. Whether you're a high-performance athlete or someone just starting to take control of your health, movement meets you where you are. It's not about intensity, it's about intention. Movement is how you wake up your biology and prepare your mind for the day ahead. Your body is designed to move, and when you honor that design, everything else starts to work better. Sleep is not just about rest. It's the foundation of your energy, your immunity, your focus, and even your emotional stability. It's the time when your body recalibrates, cortisol levels drop, adrenaline settles, and your nervous system shifts into recovery mode. That shift isn't just important, it's essential. Because without enough quality sleep, everything else we've talked about, morning light, movement, controlled stress, loses its full power. The timing of your sleep matters just as much as the quantity. Your body follows a natural rhythm, the circadian rhythm, that dictates when certain hormones rise and fall. If you align your sleep with this rhythm, your system works like it's supposed to. But when you stay up late under bright artificial light, staring at screens, or push your bedtime later and later, you're sending mixed signals to your brain. You delay the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall and stay asleep, and you prevent cortisol from dropping as it should. This disruption might not seem like a big deal in the moment, but it adds up fast. Poor sleep means your body starts the next day already out of sync. you're more reactive to stress, your immune system becomes compromised, and your energy feels scattered. You might reach for caffeine, sugar, or more stimulation just to keep going, which only deepens the imbalance. But when you prioritize sleep, especially getting to bed at a consistent time and winding down without stimulation, you set yourself up for deeper, more restorative rest. There's also something powerful about how sleep supports emotional regulation. During deep sleep, your brain processes the stressors of the day and resets emotional circuits. This is where your ability to handle future stress is built. Sleep isn't a passive activity. It's one of the most active forms of recovery your body has, and it's not just about duration. It's about depth. The quality of your sleep determines how fully your systems can repair, regenerate, and prepare for the next challenge. One of the most effective ways to improve sleep quality is to create a consistent evening routine that signals to your body it's time to wind down. That might mean dimming lights, limiting screen exposure, or doing something relaxing like stretching, reading, or breath work. These cues allow melatonin to rise naturally and help cortisol fall into its lowest levels, which is what you want at night. When you treat sleep as a non-negotiable, everything else you do for your energy and immune system becomes more effective. When you start to work with your biology instead of against it, everything changes. You begin to understand that energy isn't just something you get from caffeine or motivation. It's something you can create and sustain by using the tools your body already gives you. Cortisol and adrenaline, when timed and directed properly, are not the enemy. They are powerful allies. They help you wake up, move with purpose, respond to stress, and recover stronger. It all comes down to rhythm, knowing when to activate and when to rest. Morning light, deliberate movement, intentional stress, quality recovery, and deep, consistent sleep. These aren't just habits. They're levers you can pull to build a more energized, focused, and resilient version of yourself. Your nervous system, your immune system, your whole body is waiting for you to give it the right signals. So don't wait for energy to happen. Build it, shape it, and let your biology work for you, not against you.